I had the unfortunate pleasure of coming to work here 3 weeks before the big water break of 2006. And it turned out being really a good thing because I got to see a lot of changes within the organization immediately following that and in the months after that water break back in December of 2006. And one of the changes that was made was within the Development Services Department. At that time, it was called Planning and Community Services. It's since been changed to Development Services. And what we did during that is really try to consolidate all of the different functions, the different divisions that did development-related activity. Of course, planning and permits had been doing in development services for a long time, but we had never worked with engineering as closely as we really should have. Code enforcement, which had for a long time been in the health department, is very much kind of development related, trying to keep neighborhoods clean and safe. So those two divisions came into our department and was renamed Development Services. And we really feel like that has been very beneficial to change the way we do business in terms of streamlining the development process. If I'm a developer or a local engineer or architect or someone who wants to do a project, I would come into City Hall, and a lot of times find myself kind of bouncing back and forth between departments, the old Public Works Department, planning, permitting, water department, et cetera. And so now we've really tried to consolidate a lot of those different departments that touch development and brought those into one area, and I think it's really helped streamline the department. All of the reorganization for development services really occurred in the early part of 2007. And so since that time, we've really kind of refined that plan and even made a few additional changes. We've really tried to focus on communication and improving our service overall. Whenever you're working with a public who is working on really kind of high stakes projects, big money, whether it be a new hotel, whether it be a big redevelopment project, a new housing within an older area, whatever it might be, you're dealing with people who are investing money back into the community. Even mom or dad who wants to add on a new porch or something to their house, they are still very invested in that project. So what we've tried to do is look at that process and see how we can make it answer as many questions up front and really try to focus on communication better with the public than we had in the past. There are a couple of ways that we've done that. First of all, we created a new position through that reorganization of development coordinator. Our department actually had 2 secretaries, and we saw the need to really have someone who was focused more closely on helping people who had development projects, the builders, the engineers, et cetera, and giving them kind of their own representative on city staff. So we took one of those secretary positions and converted it to the development coordinator position and hired A.J. Favre, who's now our planning manager. And she really helped shepherd a lot of big projects in town, the Goodfellow projects that we had, the new housing project out there, a lot of large and small scale projects that position really helped to kind of take through the development process and make it much easier, I think, on the consumer, on the customer, our citizens, because we had that kind of ombudsman within the organization helping them. We also created the Development Review Committee. That was it's a committee that's still going, that every Friday someone from permits, planning, engineering, fire prevention, and the water department comes together and sits down with anyone who's wanting to develop a commercial property. Maybe they're wanting to do subdivision for a new residential area, whatever it might be. We sit down with them in advance of the project starting and try to help answer those questions that they have, so that at the last minute before it gets to Planning Commission, we're not having a kind of an aha moment where, you know, something's gone wrong and it's really too late to correct it. So we're really trying to do that as early in the process as we can, and we feel like that's been very successful. We also have created a lot of different handouts and really refined our website to provide a lot more information online, to where you can get information more quickly and readily 24 hours a day than you could before. A lot of kind of summaries of ordinances. Obviously, the development process can be confusing. You're working with multiple ordinances and policies that we have tried to make a little more concise into an abbreviated handout, which we can give people, and those have gone over very well, and people appreciate, I think, that approach. We also created the Development Forum, and every year we invite the development community, any citizen who wants to come in. We usually have it at a convention center, and it's just a time for us to kind of showcase our services and tell the public a little bit more about what we do and how our processes work. So everything that we've done, from newsletters that we've started to our new Facebook and Twitter pages, is designed to really get communication out and quicker and more efficiently. We have had a lot of feedback that has been positive from the development community, from citizens, just that the process is a little bit easier to navigate, and that's our goal. When we're doing our job right, people don't necessarily notice. It's when we are not doing our job right that the complaints start coming in, and so we feel like that no feedback is a good sign, and that's really what we've gotten recently, is that people are tending to have positive experiences, and so we're getting good feedback occasionally on that. But more than anything, the complaints, which were almost daily within this department, have really kind of just gone away. So we feel really good about that. Another thing that's a real focus for development services is neighborhood revitalization. So we focus very heavily on things that we can do as a city organization, as the public, to really help revitalize and improve neighborhoods. One of the first things when I got here that was already in progress was the tax increment reinvestment zone. And that's an area really from the new Walmart up on the north side of town all the way to downtown, kind of a commercial corridor along Bryant and Chadbourn, where we have created a special district that raises tax money for itself. It's not an additional tax, but it takes tax revenues that would have been going into that area anyway, and it requires those to be reinvested in that area. So we're getting ready to kick off a large streetscaping project on Chadbourn, and so that will entail new sidewalks, lighting, pedestrian amenities like benches and landscaping, things that'll make it a more attractive area in a part of our town that's to some degree been forgotten for a long time. So we're excited about that. Of course, community development, that's one of the divisions within development services. They have focused very heavily on increasing the number of houses that we build in these older neighborhoods. So we have 4 different target neighborhoods within the city that the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development with the city of San Angelo have designated as targeted revitalization areas, and those are primarily residential areas. So we're building more houses in those. We're dedicating more money towards emergency repairs. If somebody's water heater goes out, we can go in and help them with some of those federal dollars that we get from HUD to make those repairs. We're also doing more in terms of specifically the Blackshear neighborhood with the construction of 20 homes. We just recently completed all the zoning and platting issues with that, and so we're ready to actually now issue permits for 20 new homes in Blackshear, and that's part of the Community Development Division's responsibilities, and we're getting tax credits from the state government on that. So really excited about all the different things that are going on in some of our older neighborhoods. Again, kind of big picture, code enforcement has been an area that's really helped revitalize a lot of our neighborhoods. Code enforcement, of course, does things like make sure that grass and weeds are kept low, people's lawns are mowed, but also that we have a clean and safe neighborhood. So we try to look at areas that have a lot of illegal dumping and where junk is piling up in people's front yards, backyards, on commercial lots, wherever it might be, and really try to help keep those areas cleaned up, because anytime that you have that kind of problems that are coming into a neighborhood, you're going to see that neighborhood really start to decline in terms of property values, people wanting to move there, et cetera. So we're really trying to focus on these older areas of our community to really help code enforcement clean up these areas, and working with the private property owners to clean up those areas. So it's kind of a multifaceted approach to revitalizing neighborhoods.